Hello and welcome to Tutorials.eu. In this video I'm going to show you how you can send a post request to a public API, and for our demonstration we will use the JSON Placeholder API, where we can actually just send a simple post request to create any kind of record. Just for your interest, the entire video is also written as an article at our website, and you can find the link for that in the description below. So this is where you can, take a look again and copy the code to follow along and all of that. So making post requests to an API is definitely a common task when working with web services in C#. So first of all, we need to think about what exactly do we want to send and what we will get in return. So what kind of response do we have? So here we have a clean .NET 7 application, a console application, and I'm now going to create two new classes. So I simply right click in the project, add a new class, and I will call that post data. And this is basically what we want to send to the post endpoint of the API. So posting for sure is for creating data, right? So let's say I want to create a Twitter post or upload a YouTube video or whatever. All of this is really a post request, because post requests are creating entities in the backend. So this is our first class, and inside here I will just copy paste that because I don't want to bore you too much. I will just create that class post data, and inside here we got three properties, right? String name, int age, and string address. This is basically what we want to send to the API endpoint. Now next up, the API will return a response right after we send something to it. So first of all, we send some data to the API endpoint, and then the API will send us a response in return. So I'm going to create a new class now, and I will call that post response. You can call that however you like, but I just want to make it as clear as possible. And again, I want to copy over some code here, and it's called class post response for sure. And we got a property public int ID. So this is just what the testing API that we are using will return. So we are going to create something, and then we will get an ID for that created entity in return. Now, it really depends on what you want to use as an API. So if you have your own API, or you have a, let's say weather API or whatever, the response could be like some other kind of information, not only an ID, it could also be like any kind of message or whatever, or URL that points to the created entity, or whatever you can really think of. So it is specified by the API itself, so you have to check that. Next up, we will create our HTTP client object, and we will set the API base address. So let's go to our program.cs. Now, first of all, I want to make that class is public here. So public class post data, here we go. I also want to make it for this one so that I can access it from everywhere. And then I want to go into program. Now, inside of our main here, I will just remove that code, and I will now create a new post data. So var post data, this is what we want to send to our API, as I said, and we want to configure it here. So let's say the name, for example, is John Doe, and we got the age set to 30, and we got the address set to, let's say, 123 Main Street or whatever. Alrighty, now let me just add a semicolon, and then we got the post data ready. Now let's set up a client. So let's say var client equals to new HTTP client. This is the important part, right? Let's take a look. Let's hover above it. You can see if I just click on that, it will open up the HTTP client, and you can see that this is coming from the system.net HTTP namespace. So this is something really related to pure .NET framework. Now we need to configure the API base address. For this, we are going to set the client.base address to whatever our URL of the API is. So we're going to create a new URI here, and inside here we simply paste the link. So for our JSON Placeholder API, it is basically that one, https jsonplaceholder.typicode.com. Awesome. Now let's take our post data object and transform it into JSON, because we want to send JSON to an API. So we take our post data object, transform it into JSON, and we send that JSON as a string to the API endpoint. So let's say var JSON, and we want to use the system.text namespace. So let's just scroll up. Let's say using system.text, first one, and using system.text.json. Awesome. Let's scroll down again. And now let's say JSON serializer dot serialize. So we're gonna convert a C# object into JSON, and we want to convert our post data object here. So let's paste it inside here. Now we get JSON. Now we will create string content that we can send to the API endpoint. So let's create a new string content object. There we go. Let's say JSON, and we want to use some UTF-8 encoding. So encoding .utf8, and then we want to set the header for the media type, and the type that we're going to submit is application/JSON. So basically we are going to say that the information that we're sending comes in JSON formatting. This is what we're doing here. Great. So now we can use that content object here to really post it to the API. So let's make a final call. Let's say var response. So this is what the API will send us back when we call client.postAsync. So this is the actual post method that we're going to use to send information to the API endpoint. We're gonna say we want to reach the endpoint, which is called post. So this is also specified by the API itself. So the endpoint will be https jsonplaceholder.typicode.com/posts. This is, as I said, the endpoint specified by this API. For your, well, other APIs, whichever you want to use, it might be different, but this is the actual endpoint. We got the base URI here, and then we got the endpoint. Each API or every API has endpoints where you can send your data, grab your data, delete data, and all of that. Now, what do we want to post there? We want to post our content there, our string content object. Awesome. And then, as you can see here, response, right? We will get, right after the asynchronous call is done, so post async, we will get a result. So this result is our response. So whatever our API has sent us back in return. Before we continue, I want to tell you that we have a unique online course, which is called the C# Progress Academy, that teaches you full stack C# development. So ASP.NET Core, Angular, test-driven development, C# software design patterns, and so much more. And I'm 100% sure that this is the best way on how you can progress as fast as possible as a C# developer. You can find the link in the description below or popping up right now at the top right corner. So right now, we're getting the response of the API. Let's take a look. So let's see what response we're getting. First of all, let's check what response status code we got. So is success status code. We're gonna check that, and I will explain what it does right now. Let's create an else statement here too. So when you send a request to an API, you will get a response, and this response can have, well, different status codes. Everything what's in a range of 200 is a success status code. So let's say 200, that would typically be the OK status code, which means, okay, your request was successful. Everything what's related to 4 or 500 is an error. 500 is a server error, and 400 is most of the time a client error. So 404, for example, is not found, and 500 is a bad request, something went wrong on the server. So if I hover above that, you can see status code was in the range of 200 to 299, then it's success, so our request was successful. So let's take care of the else statement first. So let's say CW console write line. Here in that case we will have an error because it's not a success status code, so we can simply log the response.status code. Awesome. So now we have that done. Let's take a look at the success part. First of all, what we want to do is we want to read the content again as a string. So we're going to say response content equals to, we take the response here, we want to take the content of the response and we want to read it as a string. So read as string async, and since this is async, we should wait until we have the result. So even though this is like asynchronous, right now we are writing it down synchronously because we're blocking, because we're waiting for the result, but that's fine. It's just about the theory here. Now we got that done. What we want to do is we want to turn that into a C# object again. But before we do that, we want to console write line again here to just check the response content real quick. So let's start the application. This should send a post request to the API, and we should get a response, and we should see the actual response of the post API request that we sent. So we can see this is what the API answered. Name John, age 30, address, blah blah blah, and then we got the ID. So this is basically the response, and yes, it got successfully created. Awesome. So one of the most common questions is like, how can I turn the answer, the response, again into a C# object? And for that, we will simply use the, well, completely opposite of our serialize. We will use deserialize. So let's just say that we have, let me just add that here in between, var post response. We want to turn it into our post response object here, that one, post response, right? We're gonna use our JSON serializer again, but this time we want to deserialize, and we want to deserialize into the type of post response. So let me just zoom in here, post response. And what do we want to deserialize? We want to deserialize the response content from that line above here. Awesome. So finally, we can simply say ID and then say post response our C# object dot ID. Now let's save it again. Let's hit run, and we should now see any ID which is coming from a true C# object. So the application has started, and now as you can see, we got ID 0. So why is that happening? And this is something a lot of beginners are facing again. It is because it is case sensitive. So if we again, maybe you did notice it, if we take a look at our response content again, just real quick. So let me start that again. Take a look at the response that we are getting from the API. So can you see that name, age, address, and ID? Name, age, and address are in capital letters, and ID has a lower letter here. So if we now close that application, let me just Control Z here. Let me change that into ID in lowercase. Post response, we're gonna do ID in lowercase here too. When we start our application again, you will see that we will have a value for the ID. Can you see that? It now says ID 101. So when we use the lowercase, it starts working because we are able to deserialize into the post response. Now we don't want to have that because like properties should not be written in lowercase. Let's just undo that. Let me show you how you can fix that easily. Now we can use some options to fix that issue. So let me just copy and paste some code here. There we go, we can paste it here. We can use options, JSON serializer options, and let's say property name case insensitive is set to true. Now we want to use these options in our deserialize here, so add it after our response content options, right? There we go. Now let's start the application again. And as you can see, we now have an ID, and our C# code is still following the correct naming conventions. Awesome. So yeah, this is how you can send a post request to an API and how you can read the response. And if you like that video, make sure to subscribe to our channel to no longer miss any upcoming videos on C#. And for sure, check out our C# Progress Academy, which will turn you into a full stack C# developer in basically no time.